Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics on Channels Television. I'm Millicent Nwaka. On the news this hour, Nigeria's First Lady, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, responds to questions about a viral video and reasons for her absence on her return to Nigeria. It's about 48 hours to the expiration of the Nigeria Labour ultimatum as organised labour warns of a pending strike should the federal and state governments fail to accede to its demands of immediate implementation of the new national minimum wage. And President Buhari's anti-corruption watch comes under close scrutiny as the Executive Secretary of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption joins us on the programme. Welcome everyone to Lunchtime Politics. Now we begin with wife of President Buhari, Mrs. Aisha Buhari. She's been speaking about her long absence on her return back to the country. Mrs. Buhari, who arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, thanked her husband for approving aid to her office and reacted to questions about a viral video at the State House.
For 2 months with my daughter. I've never abandoned my children. I give them the motherly support they needed. And usually we normally go for a holiday every year for 6 weeks. I've taken my holiday for this year, and it happens that after the holiday, I need to attend to my health before going to Saudi. And when I went to Saudi, based on the doctor's instructions, I went back to UK again. And I'm well now, but still I need more rest. And I would like to seize that opportunity to thank my husband for approving 6 ASS and also PS to my office to allow me to attend to the home front and also some developmental projects in Nigeria for women and children. As you have seen that I've just arrived, is it 5 a.m. or what? I've just arrived with the British Airways. You are all around here to welcome me. The video was an old video. The event happens, it was me. Actually, it happened in the villa.
Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP has sent an open letter to Mr. Abdullahi Candido, chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, urging him to use his good offices and leadership position to urgently withdraw and revoke the bill for the unconstitutional and illegal payment of life pensions to former chairman, vice chairman, speakers, and other officials of AMAC. Now, according to SERAP, if the bill isn't withdrawn within 14 days of the receipt and or publication of the letter, they will take appropriate legal action to challenge its illegality. Now, under the proposed bill, AMAC's past council chairman would receive an annual pension of 500,000 naira, former vice chairman to receive 300,000 naira each, while former speakers will be paid 200,000 naira each. The payment of life pensions is expected to cost the council several millions of naira of taxpayers' money annually. Sarah believes that the payment of life pensions to the council's chairman, vice chairman, speakers would cause massive financial crisis and cripple the council's ability to discharge its mandates of providing public goods and services to the people of Abuja. Well, let's switch now, talking about the anti-corruption crusade of the federal government, the prosecution of the war against corrupt practices and implementation of reforms in the nation's criminal justice system. We have the Executive Secretary of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Sadiq Rada. He joins us live from Abuja Studios. I'd like to welcome you to the program and start by asking how committed is the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption to ensure that transparency and good governance are institutionalized in public service?
Well, let me begin by thanking you for this opportunity, and let me say good afternoon to Nigerians. For us as a committee, fighting corruption is a business that we have to see it through. In other words, it's a battle that we are committed to. So long as the corrupt people in Nigeria keep looting the treasuries of our country, then the committee will have no option other than to work with the government, to work with the anti-corruption agencies, to collaborate with civil society organizations, to collaborate with multilateral bodies outside the country and ensure that the fight against corruption is done totally and comprehensively. So for us, there is no going back. No going back because it is a fight that must be done, because as Nigerians we know that is our major problem and addressing it will help the country.
What more can you tell us about some of the challenges when Professor Sage blamed the 8th Assembly? I mean, what evidence does the advisory committee have that suggests the 8th Assembly was the main opposition to the fight against corruption, that they all ganged up against it?
Well, there is overwhelming evidence to show that the National Assembly was not only a cesspool of corruption, but a gang up against the fight against corruption in Nigeria. Number one, if you remember, there is a House of Representatives member from Kano State, Abdulmumin Kofa, who gave a serious narrative regarding the nature and extent of corruption in the National Assembly. And nobody from the National Assembly took him to court. All they did was to suspend him only to bring him back again. That is number one. Number two, the 8th National Assembly was notorious for budget padding. We have never seen budget padding like we did during that time. Number three, the ICPC currently is investigating many of the people in the National Assembly because of money linked to constituency projects as much as over 900 billion naira. Number four, there are strong allegations against the members of the National Assembly, the 8th National Assembly, that during their oversights, they do extort the ministries, departments, and agencies. They go on oversight functions. Number five, there are allegations that the leadership of the 8th National Assembly was unable to account for the funds voted for it to run the activities of the leadership. Again, an overwhelming majority of the members of the National Assembly are being accused of one corrupt practices or the other. And therefore, you can see the sum total of it all is, in a situation where you have a gang of people like that who see the fight against corruption as targeting them, they will not cooperate in the fight against corruption. And to top it all, if you remember, the current chairman of ICPC, the current chairman of Code of Conduct Bureau were sent for, betting by the president to the National Assembly. It took them 2 years. It was deliberate because they knew that getting people like that will be like approving a budget to buy a cook as fish. So in other words, there are quite a number of instances you can show that the 8th National Assembly was not only a cesspool of corruption, but a group of people who felt it deemed that the fight against corruption should not succeed. That one can be seen. You remember when the Senate President then was being tried at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, how the members were ganging up to go and travel with him, somebody who was accused of a corrupt practice but was being escorted by the honorable members. I mean, the sum total of it all was that they were not serious about fighting corruption. They were doing everything possible to sabotage it, and they did. But, evil will never triumph over good.
Professor Rada,
they did their worst to the country.
If I may waiting at this point, now some of these persons, talking about the National Assembly, are returned in the 9th Assembly. And the People's Democratic Party have said that instead, the presidency, that corruption resides in his presidency. They responded to this, where they listed a number of items they say need investigation, such as the alleged corruption in the handling of the alleged 1.4 trillion naira oil subsidy, which they say involved the cabal in the presidency. They also talked about the over 1.1 trillion worth of crude that they say was stolen. And they said as well that the presidency didn't order an investigation into allegations of the First Lady, Mrs. Buhari, when she said that 500 billion naira meant for the social investment program was diverted to private purses.
But you see, by the time in Nigeria you want to act on spurious allegations like that one, then you will have no work to do other than to be reacting to this kind of allegations. You know? But these kind of people who make these statements when they are asked to bring an evidence upon which an investigation can be conducted, they are found wanting. Yeah, it's easy to allege, it's easy to throw suspicions, but the meat of the matter is that under democracy you have to go to the courts. It has to be investigated. The evidence has to be impeccable. Therefore, people can say what they want, but in their inability to give an impeccable evidence that can be tendered in court, there will always be problems. So,
but how do you apply that when the First Lady says that 500 billion naira meant for the social investment program is diverted to private purses? I mean, how do you explain that? That's coming from the First Lady.
But the First Lady does not handle the social investment program. You know? That's why I'm saying whatever statement you have in public domain, please subject it to interrogation and inquiry. It's not enough for anybody to say what they say, but say what you say with evidence, with facts. I have some knowledge and insight regarding the social investment program. I want to say with some certainty that there is simply no how you can salt away as much as over 500 billion from that project because I know how it works. So my sum total of the argument is that the National Assembly is a conglomeration of people that were state executives. Many of them were governors, some ministers, some retired senators. Just go and investigate. You will find they have one allegation or the other and they are being prosecuted. And for that reason, things to do with the fight against corruption become, very scary for them. And as a result, they were not willing to do many things that were required to fight corruption. If you take the Process of Crime Act, it has been lying with them. If you take the NFI, it took anything that has to do with fight against corruption, then go conduct some investigative journalism. You will find that whatever we had that had to do with the fight against corruption was delayed by the 8th National Assembly. I gave you the example of the current chairman of ICPC, the current chairman of Code of Conduct. They had to wait with their commissioners for over 2 years
Professor
for them
Rada,
to be invited.
We would like to thank you.
But the CBN chairman,
I wish we had more time.
The CBN chairman, the CBN governor was sent to them in 2 weeks. He was cleared. What makes it different? Here you have honey. Here they feel it is hot pepper. So for them, they pass bills where there is quantity without quality.
We hope that when we come to investigate and ask for more details and also evidence that you would answer us, we'd like to thank you, Executive Secretary of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Sadiq Rada, for joining us on the program. Well, now, barring last-minute changes, Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, will on Wednesday, October the 16th, begin an indefinite strike. This is according to the leadership of the Labour Union, which is asking its members nationwide to prepare to down-tool. This, the unionists say, is due to the failure of government to meet its demand on the implementation of the 30,000 naira new minimum wage. Spokesperson of the NLC is asking members of the group to coordinate preparations with the Trade Union Congress and the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council. They are planning for a showdown in case of negotiation between them and the federal government on Tuesday, October the 15th, fails. Let's take a break now. When we return, we'll take a look at press freedom under the presidency. Please join us again.